Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to Power Nap Live. It's your girl, Dr. Erin Wilson. And okay, I need to get something off my chest that I'm still processing it as a grown woman, but I need to get it off my chest. Okay. I got played in a first grade spelling bee. I got played. I got played. Okay. So here's the situation. I had a teacher and she was Jamaican. She had a Jamaican accent, right? Beautiful accent. I love it now. Okay. Like, I got folks from Jamaica. Okay. Shout out to all my Jamaican friends. Okay. Family, all of it. Okay. But listen, y'all, when she said the word, when she said the word that I was supposed to be spelling, right? I heard tree. Y'all, with my whole chest, okay? Because your girl's smart. She don't sleep on me, okay? I was ready in this spelling bee, okay? My mom was there, my dad was there. I could see him. I was ready to perform, okay? So with my whole chest, I said T-R-E-E, baby, aura, okay? T-R-E-E is what your girl said, okay? What does this woman mean three? Like T-H-R-E-E. Y'all, she set me down. Now I can absolutely spell three. I was reading it like a sixth, seventh grade level in first grade. But y'all, here's the thing. The reason that I'm still mad about this, okay, it has nothing to do with spelling. And what I found as I thought about that this week, that it has everything to do with leadership. And we're going to talk about that as soon as I get Good morning. I see y'all in the comments. Keep them coming in. Let me know where you are streaming from, where you're watching from, whether it's a parking lot or from your bed. All of that is just fine. But before y'all got the theme song, okay, I was talking about a leadership lesson that was hiding in my first grade spelling bee. Okay. Now that moment wasn't about intelligence. Smart kid. I knew how to spell both tree, three, probably onomatopoeia at that point, right? It wasn't about ability to be able to spell, but it was about something that we have to talk about as leaders. It was about assumption. I assumed that I heard her correctly. She also assumed that I understood her correctly, right? Nobody checked. Could have. I mean, even though I was in first grade, I could have said, "Did you mean?" Right? But I didn't. And she, knowing that it may have been a little harder to understand her, could have made certain that I understood what the word was. So I walked away, since nobody did either of those things. I walked away embarrassed. I walked away misunderstood, and now I'm still carrying a story that I remember decades later. Okay. So let me tell you why this matters in leadership. Here's what leaders often miss. We do this every day at work. We assume that people hear us. We assume clarity. We really go out on a limb and assume shared accountability and shared understanding of the thing that we're talking about. But what if the person that we're leading, what if the people in our home, what if our friends and family members didn't hear the word three? Instead, they heard tree. Okay. That's what I heard. And instead of checking for understanding, instead of making sure that we heard exactly what that person was talking about or saying, we jumped straight to judgment. Because I was mad, big mad. First grade Erin was in her feelings, okay? That lady right now, until I really thought about this from a leadership perspective, she still could have caught it in the streets. Okay, no, I wouldn't have done that, okay? But I was still super mad about it until I really thought about what this could mean in a leadership context. We often jump straight to judgment and go, that person doesn't listen to me, or they're not capable, right? Because they didn't do it. Or one of the big ones is they don't care. We make these assumptions when in reality, the message just didn't land the way that we think it did. So it's important for us to think about that, right? Let me ask you something. Have you ever been misunderstood like that? If you have, right, misunderstood where someone knew what you were doing, right? Where you knew what you were doing, but someone assumed that you didn't know what you were doing. So if that's the case, I want you to drop a yes in the comments, okay? Because moments like that, they don't just frustrate us. They tend to really stick with us, like this story did for me, okay? I'm grown, and I was still thinking about how bink, 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 okay? Because she said tree, okay? She said tree. And anyway, you see how I'm trying to let that go? That's how damaging these kind of situations can be as leaders when we don't think about it. I've got pouring in, everybody saying yes, 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 that they've been through these, right? Because again, these moments don't just frustrate us, they literally stick with us. Okay. Now, look, if you are watching somewhere other than YouTube, it's hard for me to see your comments. So if you want to be part of the conversation, come on over to YouTube, okay? Dr. Erin Wilson, so that I can see all your comments in the chat, okay? But here's the thing. So let's talk about what this looks like in the workplace, okay? So a leader may say to someone, I need this done quickly, right? Now, I want you to think about what quickly means to you, because it can mean lots of different things to people. One person may hear, I need to move fast on this. Another person may hear, it's okay for you to cut corners because I need this fast, right? Another person that you're working with could think that that means drop everything else that you're doing. But we know that just because the leader says, right, that we need to make sure that we're providing clarity. Because after that situation, after the person does, and they heard I need it done quickly, then the leader, after the person does what they do, comes and goes, why didn't you just do what I asked you to do? But they did. They did do what you asked them to do. They just heard tree, right? When you meant three. They just heard tree when you meant three. And that's how trust starts to be eroded. That's how trust breaks down in the places that we live, the places that we work, and with the people who we have to trust relationally, right? That's how high performers get burnt out. It's also how resentment starts to build quietly, sometimes loudly, okay? Sometimes folks be out here resenting loudly, but it's how resentment starts to build on teams. So this is where relationship intelligence really matters, okay? I work with teams around relationship intelligence all the time. It's what I do. And high RQ, which is relationship intelligence, high RQ leaders, they don't just speak. They do something transformative, and that's confirm understanding. Fantastic leaders don't just tell people what to do. They don't just lead you, but they also confirm understanding. They ask some key things. They ask, what did you hear me say? They may ask you, how are you interpreting this? Right? If you want to be a high relationship intelligence using leader, right? They may also ask, walk me through how you're going to approach this, right? Because clarity is not repetition. It's clarity is all about something simple. Clarity is about confirmation, not just clarity for yourself, but clarity to make sure you and that other person are on the same page. Did they hear tree when you were saying three? So let's be honest, right? Some of us are really confident. I know I am. I'm confident in my ability to be able to communicate with people. So oftentimes, especially some of my folks who are high in some of the strengths that I do. Okay, shout out to me, a Clifton Strengths, a Gallup Clifton Strengths coach. Okay, your girl out here passing exams, getting certifications. Okay, so another certification. But anyway, some of us, as we think about strengths, right? Think about the achievers. Think about the folks with command as a strength that they have, or competition, where you're trying to move quickly in order to make it happen. Maximizers. Somebody in the comments said, "Come on, shoulders." Yes, come on. I give you a little shoulder and I took it right there. Okay. Absolutely. But some of our folks who are super confident as communicators, sometimes we skip the check. The check in with folks, the check in for clarity. We assume that speed can equal clarity, but leadership isn't about how fast you talk. It isn't about how polished you talk sometimes, right? That's not all it's about. It really is deeply about how people understand you. Not just what you're saying to people, but do they grasp it? Do they understand it? And have you taken a moment to stop to ensure that they do? That's where the work happens. That's where the magic happens. You may be a manager, that's fantastic, right? But if folks don't understand what you're asking them to do, even if they like you, things will be chaos where you are. You're not going to get the KPIs that you're looking for when people don't understand you, okay? It's all about how people understand you. So here's your power nap live for today, right? You know, I'm not going to leave you, okay? Because I want you to remember as a takeaway, before you start to assume that someone is resistant, before you start to assume that the person that you're talking to or working with or leading is disengaged or incompetent, okay? Because we quick to call people incompetent, okay? We quick, not me. Well, y'all quick, okay, to do that. I want you to start leveling up by checking for understanding. That's a huge level up. Huge level up. Okay. I want you to start checking with people that you lead, checking with people that you love. Okay. For understanding. Literally, one clarifying question can save you months of frustration. One clarifying question is the difference between you thinking the person doesn't care and understanding and making sure that you guys are on the same page. It can also save someone else from carrying this spelling bee moment like I did for the rest of their career. Okay, so I want us to be out here saving people from tree and three. Okay, that's what I want you to do. All right, so as we come to a close, if this resonated with you, it's probably because you don't have a motivation problem on your team. You may actually have a relational clarity problem. And that's exactly the work that I do with leaders and with teams every day. I help them to really make sure that they understand how to hear people, how to interpret, but also how to respond to communication. So if you want to go deeper with that, either by yourself or for your team or for students, that's just fine. Make sure that you either send me a message or you can even drop SDI in the comments below, okay? Because leadership is not just what you say, it's literally what people hear. Okay. All right, folks, I can't believe it, but today is over. I will see you next Sunday, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, right back here, hopefully on YouTube. If you're watching somewhere else, make sure you slide over to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, share this with someone, okay? Because they need to hear it. Until next time, make sure that you make good decisions and rest like you mean it. See you next week. Bye.
Power up.